We've got some serious business to discuss with the WBC basically allowing Oscar Valdez to go forward with this fight after a blatant PED violation. I'm not even sure where we begin with this.
I don't mean to laugh, but when did they ever have a good look? Really, when does this become old news? Because it is old news with one thing or another with these organizations. This time it happens to be the WBC, but does it matter which one it is? They're useless. Except they know how to take money from the fighters. They know how to take those sanctioning fees. They're damn good at that. Believe me, there would be no banned substance that would keep them from taking those sanctioning fees. Nope. That wouldn't happen. Listen, he tested positive, he being Oscar Valdez, for phentermine. Yep. And from, we always do our due diligence. From what I understand, I called a few people up just to know we were going to talk about this, and medical people, and make sure that I have all my oars in the water properly. He tested positive for that. That's a central nervous stimulant, and it's used for weight loss, out of the things that it's most frequently used for. Of course, his team says it came from herbal tea. But first, let me just deal with that. Ken, who cares where the hell it came from? Hallucinogenics come from mushrooms, right? And you probably shouldn't be taking them. So because it might be from herbal tea, and that's a big might, it's supposed to suggest it's okay, it's harmless, but it's still a banned substance. That's the bottom line. These people, they just crack you up. It's a banned substance. It's banned for a reason. The WBC now is saying it's okay, it's not doing anything, and we're letting the fight go on. Well, why'd you ban it then? Why you got these rules? If you're not going to uphold the ban and suspend them, because why? It depends on who's caught doing it. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Is it because of who's doing it? If it's someone less important who's not connected with the Canelo team and not giving you a lot of money and sanctioning fees, then maybe then it changes. Maybe then you stick to the rule. Eddy Reynoso, and I came here to put facts out. That's all. Eddy Reynoso, he does a good job as a trainer, yeah, but he's had now how many fighters, Ken, in his
Countless.
camp? I want to be responsible. I know three of them. You got Canelo, you got Valdez, and then you go back and you got Martinez. I think it was Julio Cesar Martinez, who was a WBC flyweight champion back in 2019, came out of his camp too. And maybe there's others, but all right. So I want to touch on their excuse, how they're getting around this. So the WBC is getting around this by saying they only ban the drug. Listen to this, Ken, in competition. And the in-competition period only begins on fight day itself. Wow. All right, only on fight day. So you can use a banned substance to help you get ready for the fight as long as you don't use it the day of the fight. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. So let's just say that it gives you an advantage in making weight. That's okay. And why would you? So it helps you make weight, which is not legal. So you have an advantage, something helping you make weight where you don't have to struggle like the other guy might have to. And, okay, why would you use it after that anyway? You use it for the job that it was going to help you with. So you use it during camp. You use it during the most important week leading up to the fight week, where you have to crunch weight, where you have to cut weight.
Yep.
All these organizations and so-called regulators of this sport, they're just a joke. And their motto, the motto would be come fight for the WBC, which I've often said that the call letters really stand for we be asking.
We be collecting.
And we be collecting. Yeah, WBA, I get them confused. And also what they could also put into their new motto would be, we be collecting, we just don't collect urine. You know, put that in there.
Or blood.
And our banks are always open. You know, the banks are always open.
Teddy, let me give WBC one compliment along those lines. They're as thick as thieves. If you're going to rob a bank, you should call the WBC to rob it with you. They'll do anything for their partners in crime, including allow them to cheat and go ahead with the fight. So if they have any compliment, it's that they're loyal to a fault. Hey, you're our guys. You're our champion. You want to dope during the fight? Don't worry about it. We'll take that off the ban list, or we'll make up some cockamamie excuse that it shouldn't have been on there in the first place. The time to talk about that was before the guy started using it.
One other thing I want to touch on this subject, because as I said, I want to make sure we're as thorough as possible. Canelo tested positive. We talked about Reynoso's stable fighters and some of them testing. And I'm saying nothing. I have nothing against Reynoso. He's a good trainer. And maybe he's a good guy. I don't know. But all I know is that Canelo tested positive for a banned substance. And you know more about these things than I do. But
clenbuterol.
Clenbuterol in 2018. Yeah. How do you pronounce it, Ken?
Clenbuterol. It's like an asthma drug, but it also has some androgenic effects that act like almost like an anabolic steroid, definitely like a water drug, but it also can be used to mask the use of other performance-enhancing drugs.
Bingo. So in 2018, he had to postpone the rematch with Golovkin. So that in 2019, WBC flyweight champ Julio Cesar Martinez, also part of Reynoso's gym, tested possible also for the same drug that Canelo did, clenbuterol. So, and now, of course, we have Valdez. So that's three. I mean, I've heard people say there's more. I'm not going to say there's more unless I can, definitely specifically point at who it is and what exactly the situation was. But I think three is kind of a lot. The other thing I want to touch on is that Khalid Plant, the IBF super middleweight champ, he went on a rant after seeing the news on Valdez being cleared, or whatever you want to call it, of not being held accountable and not being suspended. He's not wrong. A lot of fighters feel the same way, but they won't say it publicly. I have to give him credit. And that's obviously why I wanted to bring his name up. As he says, and I have said many, many times through the years when I had the platforms I've had, this sport is already dangerous enough without putting things in your body that can make it more dangerous. And, he has to go and fight Canelo if that fight stays on. And I also want to say ahead of time, Ken, because I kind of know how this works and how people react. Shame on those people on the internet if you're going to attack Plant now saying he's getting nervous or scared about fighting Canelo. You know what? No. He's got the right to demand that he's clean. He's got that right. They do risk everything when they get in that ring, these fighters. And sometimes, as I've said for so many years, on ESPN and everywhere else, fighters get in the ring and they come out of the ring with less of themselves. And sometimes they don't come out, unfortunately. So he's got a damn right, Plant, to be concerned and to be speaking up. Where quite frankly, a lot of the fighters, a lot of people in the sport, trainers, everyone else, they don't. They're afraid to. They're afraid to get on the wrong side of somebody. They're afraid to get on that blacklist, if you will. So I give them credit for that. At the end of the day, wow, the NFL was tougher on your boy or your former boy, Ken, Tom Brady, for taking some air out of a couple. I have to
allegedly.
Allegedly. He's still your boy. That's my boy, Ken. He's being loyal. That's what I like to see. Allegedly taking some air out of a couple footballs that they were tougher than the WBC is for a fighter taking an illegal substance. I mean, last time I checked, Brady's he's not throwing the ball into a player's head 500 times. I mean, you just, again, I've used this phrase 5 times today. I use it one more. You can't make this stuff up. As you said, the other day, as I already noted, boxing is the gift that keeps giving. They keep giving you stuff to talk about. Ridiculous stuff that's, quite frankly, we wish we didn't have to talk about it.